For the love of God! So Mal finally went back to the aisle to get her mojo back. Back in Oregon, Ben learned of this thanks to the note and ring Evie found when she came in. Ben soon blames himself for all this and decides to go to apologize. Is it really your fault, Ben? Because you went all beast on Mal like your own father. So, it's not your fault, it's just the screenplay's writing. By the way, the screenplay was written by Joanne McGibbon and Sarah Petraea. Really, you two? You wrote some dramas on the sequel in your script. But seriously, this screenplay they wrote is so dramatic and kinda rad that every actor and actress rocks here. Well, including Dub, Sophia, Boo Boo, China, and Cameron, which we all know they're doing pretty good. As a matter of fact, why can't Cameron's character Carlos be the main character for this sequel? He rather tries to have some romantic chemistry with Jane. But no, let's not give away to a little bit of a Phoebean understudy. I know more about Carlos and Jane than I know about Ben and Mal. All I know about these two was that they had a romantic picnic at the Enchanted Lake in the original. Well, at least Mal likes some strawberries. Any payoff would have worked better, no matter how dramatic it is. It could have taken less than a day to shoot any of all this. How the smurf does it work? Oh, never mind. They're just doing it for the fans. It means they don't have to explain that much because some people already know. Let's look at this new character who had just gave Mal her purple hair back. I'm of course talking about Dizzy, the daughter of Drizella, played by Anna Cathcart, who works at Lady Tremaine's Curl Up and Die. But their little reunion was interrupted by Harry, who informs Mal that she won't take back her old territory from Uma. Meanwhile, as night falls over the Isle, Ben, Evie, Jay, and Carlos, in their new Isle of the Lost attires, arrived here with a limo. And with the song Chillin' Like a Villain, Ben had mastered the art of appearing villainous. And Gil, he just happens to bump right into them. So was their mission a big success? No! Absolutely not! Because Mal told Ben she's not coming back with him. And here comes her friends to make it worse, for she had just told them to go away. What is with Mal of all people? She takes things seriously even though she's back at the Isle. This girl rocks, and I think Dove Cameron agrees. Well, we appreciate your concerns and decisions, Mal. Yeah, God forbid that Mal is staying and get her territory back from Uma. It's like Simba refusing to come back to Pride Rock in The Lion King. Mercy. And you know what's worse? Ben's been pirate napped, and Harry told him that if they want to see him again, Mal needs to come to the fish ship shop alone. Great, that's just great. Now Mal is confronting her own friends about this situation, and now she's handling it all by herself. So at the fish and chip shop, Mal and Uma had an arm wrestling match. If Mal wins, Ben's free to go. If Uma wins, Mal will give her the Fairy Godmother's wand at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Did Uma just say what I think she just said? Okay. You know what you have to be talking about. No one's that naive or stupid. I mean, Uma here may be trying to play it all innocent when you know she's talking about the magic wand. The same wand that made the barrier around the aisle. I mean, I might believe that wasn't intentional and all. But you know. You totally know what Uma's talking about and you should be ashamed of yourself. I bet she would have tried to out-Tucker Chris Tucker or maybe Kevin Hart. And what is with Uma of all people? One minute she gathered her own crew of pirates in the prequel book, and then the next she had kidnapped Ben in this sequel. Keep in mind that she did not also did that. She just told Mal to bring the Fairy Godmother's magic wand in exchange for Ben's freedom. That is what's making this sequel go insane. Is it time for the VKs to go all James Bond and Mission Impossible on this one? Yes. Yes it is. For they got some smoke bombs, swords, and a fake replica of the Fairy Godmother's wand, made from the 3D printer. During all this, Mal told Evie that she's not coming back yet. But she promised her that no matter where they were, they'll always be best friends. Even when the day comes for them to part ways. Seriously? But that's when their sad ballad song, Space Between, comes in. Well, I felt pretty bad about that, you know? So the VK soon brought Lonnie along also, unless she ratted them out on the Fairy Godmother. What is with clocks striking 12 and magic wands? They ought to save Ben quickly, before they all walk the plank. Speaking of which, what the heck is Harry doing to Ben? Are they taking the pirates' advice from Ice Age Continental Drift? I'm just saying. Ben tried to convince Uma to come to Auradon and be part of the solution. All this time, Ben's plan was to start with Mal and her friends and bring more folks in. But Ben was just busy being king, you know. Kinda hard to repeat that. So the situation ended up being a real shipwreck. But the good thing is, they're doing some sword fighting. Wait a sec, sword fighting? That doesn't make any sense. The Cavs were practicing some fencing during rehearsal, and the song It's Going Down is playing. I wonder if the rest of this whole sword fighting scene should have had a background music of It's a Pirate's Life from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie franchise. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why would I want a Pirates of the Caribbean music during a fight scene? Don't they want to hear the lyrics of It's Going Down? Well, 1, they could do that. 2, it's for the action. And 3, it's because the less I give people, the more they can fill in what's so good about this sequel. You wouldn't understand, folks. It's for the fans. Well, the VKs and Lonnie finally escaped with Ben and are back in Auradon. But that's not a happy news for Mal, for she had just left her spellbook behind, and was heading back to Auradon as well. Okay, so Mal and Evie are always going off in a huddle, whispering all their girl talk stuff or whatever, and Jay and Carlos are getting tired of it. Come on, our main VKs went through a lot of crazy stuff together, so they're not gonna stop now. So what, Mel? You would have been through this mess without them. Admit it. I was right. I was right about Descendants too. I was right. I was right. I was... that pirate chick out there, the one betrayed by China Anne McClain. I'm sure you're aware of her. She was the captain of a certain crew, a pirate crew. Am I correct? Uh-huh. And, there was a name for this certain ship for her and her crew, if I recall, that Uma and Harry both gave it, correct? And what was the name of that ship or crew again? The one that she gave it? I can't remember. What was it again? Still thinking. Wait a minute, that can't be it, because Ben was captured by the crew that Uma was leading. You know, Mal, you was always, I don't belong this or I don't belong that. Well, guess what? Now it's my turn, so you just calm down and pay attention. If you weren't so pressured up on being royally perfect, the one that you were cracked up about, none of this bogus would be happening. I didn't want drama in this sequel. I was expecting Ben to give out an engagement ring and propose to you right now. It's almost like all of this is entirely both yours and Ben's goddamn faults. Dove, Sophia, Cameron, Bobo, China, if you're watching this review, it kind of goes like this. If the VKs were invited to Oridon, and Uma wasn't, let's just say that she and her crew had a laser beam. See, here it is, here's the beam, here she is, all the way over here. When their beam reaches across the ocean blue and nukes the whole kingdom of Oridon, I'd rather drink your milkshakes! I drank it up! Cause this was crazy! This whole idea for the sequel was crazy. Even Despicable Me 2 was crazy, and that was a cool film. And if you VK's father, you were just gonna sit here and say that I was right, well, you're been wrong, cause I'm giving this sequel the freak out it deserves, you meddlesome mooks! Enough of this bogus hopelessness, man. I'd rather give the audience of this sequel what they would have goddamn paid for. What? You were expecting Mal to give out some kind of a motivational speech again like in the original? Been there, done that. That's because those VKs, by definition, are the most motivated folks in the Descendants universe. They're not going to give it any more of the sequel's meddlesome drama cliches. Okay. As everyone was getting ready for the cotillion, Mal is just freaking out. While Jay gives her war captain position to Lonnie, Evie gives Doug a chance to help her with some fashion, and Carlos finally had the guts to tell Jane how he feels. Thanks to Dude. Good dog, dude. Good dog. And I hope Carlos and Jane don't get carried away already. At least that was my favorite part about this sequel. And now the cotillion has finally commenced. It was held at a party yacht called True Love, docked in the marina. Partygoers, paparazzi, you name it! Dizzy gets the mention of her accessories by Evie. Jane and Carlos are dancing like a couple already. Jay is boogieing with some girls. So it was a great moment for our VKs. Here's where the part of the sequel really starts to tick me off. Uma showed up at the cotillion. Yeah, Mal and I are both gonna be sick, not because of the boat. Son of a god! That's the worst part about this sequel. Of all the crazy stuff they came up with. I think Uma is smiling evilly because she wants Mal to suffer the way she suffered. She must have dove through the barrier before it closed, and Uma is a pretty good swimmer. And the fact that Ben and Uma are meant to be? Nuh-uh, no. Ben does love Mal, and his gift proves it. Mal loves him also, as it sounds crazy. At least Mal can see the stained glass art that Ben made for her for months. But Uma was going to give up that easily because she had just spelled Ben with Mal's spellbook. And I didn't have to add the suspense music to that. The whole scene so far is just a flippant excuse for some drama. If all of this had finally come to fruition, it is indeed going to be the craziest sequel that is out right now. And Despicable Me 3 is still on the prowl. Well, here's some good news and bad news. The good news is that True Love's kiss works every time, as Mal finally kissed Ben. The bad news, Uma is still ticked off. Mal tries to convince Uma not to let her pride get in the way of something that she really wants. But you know what the Smurf just happened? She just jumped into the ocean and she rose as an enormous tentacled sea witch. She just got a whole lot bigger. Yep, like mother, like daughter. And what's even more epicer, Mal got turned into a Smurfing dragon! What the heck was that? It would have made Maleficent very proud of her right now. Why didn't we know she could turn into that? Oh my god, let me guess. For the fans. But then finally manages to stop the fight and tries to plead Uma to help him make a difference. And what was Uma's answer? She just left. Yeah, we were expecting her to reform with Harry and Gil and all, but no, she just left. So everything's back to normal as Evie gets Ben a list of VKs who may deserve a second chance, starting with Dizzy. Mal gives away her spellbook to the Fairy Godmother, who puts it in a museum because she was free to be herself, and Ben would love her for that. And so in true Happily Ever After fashion, they partied into the night once again, as Carlos and Jane boogie, Jay and Lonnie dance, followed by Evie and Doug, and Mal was lady of the court at last, and finally herself, part Isle, part Oradon. Now this would have been an actual Happily Ever After, as Dizzy was finally going to Oradon at last, and... Wait a second. Uma grinned and said this wasn't the end of the story, and that's your big clincher ending? Yeah, I know you're all at the edge of your seats about this, but yeah. So of course, all that build-up leads to the unbelievable let-up and let-down, which is the ultimate staple of Disney's Descendants, which means that gives us our very last shot. This whole sequel was downright passable. This whole sequel was pretty darn understandable and pretty kind of much okay. But did you know what I finally see in that sequel? I finally see a sequel that had pirates. And now I did. I finally see a sequel where dude can talk, like Scooby-Doo. But now I did. I finally see a sequel where Carlos and Jane are finally a couple and loving each other. And now I did. I can still feel the connection with the VKs the same way they did with all of us, like in the original. And now I did. I finally believed that this was the time the main cast had finally returned. And now I finally did. And like the original, this sequel has once again deserved our time and respect. They should have just finished it with just Dizzy going to Oradon and just roll the credits. But I'm still pretty ticked off at the ending though. Just with Uma coming out of the waves saying you didn't think this was the end of the story and swam back underwater or whatever and that's it. I'm sorry, this should have gone out on a better note. Well, you know what? This is my take and review on Descendants 2 and I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna replace that ending with the alternate one which will not be selected as one of the 2 alternate endings on the DVD, which will come out in August, which I know it will give you, the viewers, and the whole cast and crew of this sequel a bigger, gigantic reaction. Why? Because it's for the fans. I'm the awesome nostalgic Pharaoh King. To check out cool stuff anywhere.